What if I told you Malcolm Jamal Warner's death wasn't an accident, but a calculated hit, and the smiling father figure we all trusted could be the one who ordered it? And what if I told you the evidence is so twisted, so dangerous, that Hollywood has been deleting posts, erasing files, and shutting down anyone who even dares to talk about it? Because here's the thing, this isn't just another Cosby scandal. This is bigger, dirtier, deadlier. We're talking secret meetings, missing hard drives, burner phones, and a black book packed with names that could nuke half the entertainment industry overnight. The leaks are out. The trial is underway. And every single day, more secrets crawl out from under the rug Cosby's been hiding behind for decades. So, what happens when America's dad becomes America's most dangerous man? Stay right where you are, because what you're about to hear they never wanted you to know. Bill Cosby, you know the name, you know the sweaters, you know the smile. But what you don't know, what they've worked overtime to make sure you never find out, is the ugly, twisted, behind-the-scenes reality that's now spilling out in court like a crime scene no one can mop up. And at the center of it all, the shocking, suspicious, and possibly orchestrated death of Malcolm Jamal Warner, the kid we all grew up watching as Theo Huxtable, the charming, grounded, relatable TV son who was supposed to have a long Hollywood career ahead of him. Instead, his career fizzled. His public appearances became rare. His final days, wrapped in paranoia, cryptic messages, and now, murder allegations. Let's rewind. After The Cosby Show ended, Malcolm should have been Hollywood's next big thing. He had the looks, the talent, the fan base, but almost overnight, his phone stopped ringing, roles disappeared, casting directors suddenly forgot his name, public events, invitations dried up like last week's Instagram trend, according to multiple so-called industry insiders. And yes, I've heard the same whispers for years. This wasn't bad luck. This was deliberate, a slow erasure. And guess whose shadow he couldn't escape? Bill Cosby's. Here's where it gets dark. Sources claim Malcolm saw things on set, things that would make your skin crawl. Not just the bad jokes or the weird backstage politics. We're talking closed-door meetings, unexpected visitors, and contracts shoved into people's hands with NDAs thicker than the script itself. Malcolm was allegedly disturbed enough to start keeping notes. One anonymous former crew member even told me, he kept saying, "If people knew what I knew, the whole industry would burn." Now, we all know Cosby's public image started collapsing in the 2010s when decades of accusations finally caught up with him. But here's the thing, those allegations were about women. This story, this is something else entirely. Something that connects money, manipulation, and yes, possibly murder. Let's talk about the final years of Malcolm's life, because, according to one former assistant, he was living in a constant state of fear. The man stopped using email. He used burner phones. He wrote everything by hand. He avoided calls from unfamiliar numbers like they were landmines. And here's the real kicker, he believed he was being watched. He told me, "They don't want me to talk. They want me to disappear." That's a direct quote from someone who worked in his house. And then, the accidents started happening. First, in July 2025, Malcolm's brakes allegedly failed while driving home late at night. Police said it was wear and tear. His mechanic said it was tampering. You do the math. Weeks later, his home security system was hacked. No valuables taken, just his hard drives, gone, completely wiped. And if you think that's a coincidence, congratulations. You probably still believe in the tooth fairy. But the most chilling moment, 2 weeks before his death, Malcolm posted an Instagram story that read, "If I die mysteriously, just know I didn't harm myself." The truth was too heavy. It disappeared in under 30 minutes. And here's where Bill Cosby's name slides back into the spotlight like it never left. Multiple people claim Malcolm had been quietly working on a documentary called Fade to Black, what the camera never showed. It was supposed to drop in late 2025. The content? Allegedly an expose not just on Cosby, but on a whole network of entertainment elites who built careers on family-friendly images while hiding the filth behind closed doors. Guess what happened the moment he started shopping it around to streaming platforms? Every deal evaporated. One exec ghosted him mid-negotiation. Another allegedly told him, "This isn't a story we can afford to tell." And yet, Malcolm didn't stop. He reached out to independent journalists. He hired a private investigator. He was building a case that could have blown Cosby's legacy into cosmic dust. But in August 2025, before the cameras rolled, before the story dropped, Malcolm was found dead at home. Official story? Natural causes. Funny how natural causes now apparently includes missing hard drives, brake failures, and a warning from the victim himself that he was in danger. And now, here we are, months later in a courtroom where prosecutors are presenting something no one saw coming. A grainy surveillance video showing Malcolm and Cosby in a heated confrontation just weeks before his death. No audio, but the body language says it all. Malcolm pointing, jabbing his finger in Cosby's face. Cosby calm, cold, almost smirking. Remember, Cosby had publicly claimed they hadn't spoken in years. This video? Yeah, that's not aging well. The prosecution says this is just the beginning. The real evidence? It's still coming. And if the leaks I've seen are anything to go by, we're about to hear some things that will make every Cosby Show rerun feel like watching a crime scene. No, not that black book, the one you've heard about in every Hollywood conspiracy from Epstein to mysterious suicides. This was Malcolm's personal ledger. A plain, beat-up notebook with a torn leather cover, found hidden in a locked drawer after his death. And according to the whispers in the hallway outside that courtroom, it's filled with names, dates, and ugly details that connect some of the biggest smiles and entertainment to the darkest secrets you could imagine. Multiple anonymous sources, which in this business means 3 people who refuse to give me their real names, claim the book outlines who was in the room, what was discussed, and how much money exchanged hands to keep certain scandals buried. We're talking payments in the millions, in cash, in offshore accounts, even in real estate, because nothing says keep your mouth shut like a penthouse in Dubai. And yes, Bill Cosby's name allegedly appears more than once, not just as a present at the meeting figure, but as someone giving orders. Here's the wild part: the notebook also contains a page simply titled Insurance. Beneath it, a list of VHS tapes, digital drives, and envelopes labeled with names. No context, no explanation, just labels. You know what that sounds like: collateral, dirt, the kind of stuff you hold on to in case the people above you decide you're no longer useful. Now, prosecutors haven't confirmed if the black book is officially part of the trial yet, but they did drop one bombshell this week: a leaked audio recording from Malcolm's phone. I've heard it. And let me tell you, if it's legit, it's chilling. It's Malcolm's voice. He's whispering, like he's hiding in a closet or a small room. You can hear footsteps in the background, faint voices, and then he says, "They know I have it. I can't go home. If this gets out, they're done. I'm done." The recording cuts off abruptly. Cosby's legal team, of course, is calling all of this pure fiction. They've gone on TV claiming Malcolm's death was a tragedy, yes, but one unrelated to any professional matters. They say the video of their meeting was just a chance encounter, and the black book, they claim they've never even seen it. But here's where the internet, bless its messy, conspiracy-loving heart, comes in swinging. Reddit threads are blowing up. TikTok sleuths are dissecting the courtroom footage frame by frame. One user claims to have spotted a sealed manila envelope being slipped to the prosecution by a mystery courier mid-hearing. Another swears they've matched handwriting in the black book to a prop list from the Cosby Show's original production notes. Is any of this confirmed? No. Does that matter to the online mob? Also no. The public's fascination with this trial isn't just about Malcolm. It's about the idea that one of TV's most wholesome father figures might have been running a side game so dirty it makes Hollywood's other scandals look like playground drama. And then there's the money trail, a fake leaked bank report which, for legal reasons, I will absolutely say could be photoshopped, is making the rounds online, showing large wire transfers from a Cosby-affiliated charity to a shell company in the Cayman Islands. Dates: 2 weeks before Malcolm's death. Amount: $2.3 million. Coincidence? The defense says yes. The prosecution is being suspiciously quiet. Meanwhile, the witness list for the trial just got a lot more interesting. One of Cosby's former bodyguards, a guy nicknamed Big Lou, has been subpoenaed. Now, Big Lou isn't the type to sit down for an interview. In fact, rumor has it he hasn't spoken publicly in over a decade. But people who knew him back in the day claim he was security for more than just fan control. If Big Lou talks, and if he confirms Malcolm's version of events, let's just say this trial might not even need a full jury deliberation. And then there's the matter of the missing tapes. Remember that insurance list from Malcolm's notebook? 2 of the VHS tapes allegedly resurfaced, but not in police custody. No, These tapes popped up on a dark web marketplace known for selling celebrity-compromising footage. They were listed under vague descriptions like comedy legend, backstage, and network party 89. The listings vanished after about 48 hours. But in internet time, that's an eternity enough for screenshots, downloads, and 100 speculative YouTube breakdowns to flood the feed. Cosby's lawyers are calling it deepfake propaganda. The problem is, deepfakes don't explain why the descriptions match events from Malcolm's handwritten notes almost word for word. Right now, the courtroom is a powder keg. Every day, reporters wait for the next leak. Every day, the defense tries to paint Malcolm as paranoid, troubled, or desperate for attention. And every day, the prosecution hints that they're saving their biggest weapon for the end. The question isn't whether something explosive is coming. The question is how much of it will actually make it into the public record, and how much will mysteriously disappear before we get there. Because in cases like this, evidence doesn't just vanish. It gets erased, and the eraser is usually wearing a $5,000 suit. It happened on a Tuesday morning, right before the jury was supposed to hear from Big Lou. The courtroom was half empty, a slow day, or so we thought. Cosby was seated, wearing that same calm, grandfatherly smirk he's worn through the entire trial. The judge shuffled papers. The defense whispered among themselves, and then the side door opened. A woman walked in. Not on the witness list. Not in any of the pre-trial press leaks. She had a folder in her hands, the kind that's so overstuffed the metal clip can barely hold it together. She walked straight to the prosecution's table, handed it over, and left without saying a single word. What was inside? No one knew, at least not right away. But the change in the prosecutor's face was instant. That folder didn't just contain evidence. It contained ammunition. Within hours, rumors were flying. Someone claimed the folder held Malcolm's missing hard drive. Others said it was a sworn statement from a Hollywood executive who had finally decided to flip. The craziest theory? That it was a set of signed checks, Cosby's own signature, paying off more than one person in the days before Malcolm's death. The judge called a recess. The defense objected so loudly it was like watching a live episode of courtroom reality TV. But when they returned, the atmosphere had shifted. That's when the prosecution played their card. They rolled in a TV monitor. Old school. Like something from the AV cart days in high school. They dimmed the lights. Press clicked their cameras. And then, without warning, a grainy VHS recording filled the screen. The footage showed a dimly lit room, wood-paneled walls, and at least 6 men seated around a table. Cigars, drinks, and there, unmistakable even through the haze of static, sat Bill Cosby. Not smiling, not joking, listening. The audio was faint, but you could make out fragments. Discussions about keeping him quiet. Phrases like, "if he runs his mouth, we're done." And then, the clearest sentence of all, spoken in Cosby's voice, "Then he's not going to make it to next week." The defense exploded. Deep fake? Out of context. Fabricated. But the prosecution claimed the tape came directly from Malcolm's personal storage, found inside an unmarked box, wrapped in brown paper, and authenticated by 2 separate analysts. If this was true, the insurance list from Malcolm's notebook had just become Exhibit A in the most damaging moment of Cosby's career. And yet, here's the twist. Before the jury could even process what they'd seen, the defense called for an immediate mistrial, arguing that the tape's chain of custody was unclear and that it was prejudicial beyond repair. The judge didn't rule right away. Instead, he ordered the tape sealed for now and warned both sides against trying this case in the court of public opinion. Too late. Within hours, bootleg clips of the tape were already circulating online. TikTok edits, Twitter threads, frame-by-frame breakdowns on YouTube. People slowed down the audio, filtered it, enhanced it. Every corner of the internet was buzzing. Some swore it was proof Cosby ordered Malcolm's death. Others insisted it was a fake planted to take him down. And that's when the threats started. Several reporters covering the case suddenly went silent. One even deleted all their tweets about the trial. A popular conspiracy YouTuber announced he was stepping back for personal safety reasons, and the subreddit tracking the trial, gone overnight, removed for legal reasons. By this point, the case was no longer about facts. It was about control. Who could keep the story contained, and who was willing to risk everything to get it out. Big Lou finally took the stand 2 days later. His testimony wasn't a Hollywood monologue. No dramatic pointing across the courtroom. Just short, clipped answers. Yes, he'd worked for Cosby. Yes, He'd been in meetings where Malcolm's name came up. And yes, he'd been told more than once to handle certain problems before they got bigger. When asked directly if Malcolm was one of those problems, Lou hesitated, looked at the defense, looked at Cosby, and then said one word, yes, gasps, actual gasps, like something out of a scripted drama. The defense pounced, painting Lou as a disgruntled ex-employee looking for revenge. But you could feel the shift in the room. The jurors leaned forward. The press scribbled faster. Even Cosby's smirk wavered. From that moment, the trial became a countdown. Everyone knew the verdict was going to be historic. The only question was whether it would ever truly make it to a jury. Because here's the thing. In cases like this, the ending isn't always the truth. Sometimes it's the version of the truth powerful enough to survive. And that's why, even now, as the closing arguments approach, there's this gnawing feeling that the real story, the full, uncut version of what happened to Malcolm Jamal Warner might never see daylight. Not because there's no evidence, but because there's too much. And too many people with too much to lose if it ever gets out. So, is Bill Cosby guilty? The courtroom will decide one version of that answer. The rest will live in whispers, rumors, and the blacked out pages of files we'll never be allowed to see. They can seal tapes. They can erase files. They can shut down anyone who gets too close. But they can't stop you from knowing the truth. If you're willing to look for it, if you believe this story deserves to be heard, share this video before it disappears. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let the world know where you stand. Because the moment we stop asking questions is the moment they win. Stay curious, stay loud, and remember, the truth doesn't die, it just hides.